Chef Kimberdine here, back with Nourish. Today we're gonna be making a broccoli cheddar soup, and we're gonna make our own cheddar cheese. We're also gonna make some herbed rolls to go with it. So first we're gonna start off with our rolls. I'll walk you over to the stove top really quick. We have our water and our maple syrup. So we're just gonna get that started over here. So we always wanna make sure that our sweetener, our sugar, whatever you'd like to call it, goes in with our liquid. You could use a nut milk or something other than water if you wanted to, but we always want to make sure that sugar is in there with it. And then I'm gonna set my flame to just like a low heat. We're gonna take our thermometer that just opens up. I love these ones. You can use any thermometer you like. I'm gonna kind of stir along while I do this. You just want the tip to go right into the middle of the liquid, not to the bottom or the top, and it'll start to come up for us. Nice. So you can see it's starting to jump pretty quickly. So I just want to watch it. We're going to get it to about 100 degrees today. It's not really hot and it's not really cold today, so it's close. You can tell when I mix it, the temperature changes. There we go. All right, so we're going to turn it off. That's perfect. Grab this guy, leave our thermometer over here. Come on over to our table. I'm gonna grab our dry active yeast. Go ahead and throw that into the water and the maple. I'm gonna give it a little stir too. Just so it can start to grow, eat that sugar, and activate. So while that is starting to rise, we're gonna go ahead and come over here to our mixing bowl with our dry ingredients. We have our organic brown rice flour. You could substitute quinoa flour if you wanted. We have our baking powder that we make in-house. The recipe is from Happy Baking and Desserts. We just want to eliminate the cornstarch, so we do arrowroot starch, baking soda, and cream of tartar. This time I'm going to use ground chia seeds. You could substitute this for ground flax meal if you wanted to. We have our arrowroot starch over here. Then we have our sea salt. Got gargum, that's just gonna give it the gluten window that we lose when we take out the gluten. We also have our oregano, our dried and ground rosemary, and then our dried and ground thyme. You could use any herbs that you like, any flavorings that you like. This is just what we like. You could take the herbs out completely if you don't want any of these. They just have some great nutritional value. Oregano is really good for boosting your immune system. Rosemary is really good for brain health, and thyme is just really good for overall health as well, and it's antifungal. So from there, while this is rising, you can already start to see it activating. We're just gonna start to spray our pan and just get that ready. So you see those starting to spread out. It's not like just those little sand grounds you saw in the beginning. So we wanna take our spray. We're gonna spray 12 of these. I make rolls at my house at least 2 to 3 times a week for my girls. They love rolls. Freshly baked rolls is their favorite. They'll do it with herbs, without herbs, anything I put on it. We actually like to do mini pans because then it's just better portion sizes for them. So we do, instead of 12 large ones, we do 24 mini, if you ever wanna try that. And then we'll start to get this guy mixing. So I have my apple cider vinegar. Any vinegar will work here. Take our oil. You could use olive, avocado. All right. And then this is looking really good. It's rising pretty quickly. So we'll go ahead and just dump that in. We already have our oven preheating to 350 right now. So just letting that warm up as we get these ready. You could do this in a KitchenAid, any kind of mixer that you have, obviously not a blender. And that'll kind of help you. I like to do it by hand. So the texture of this dough isn't like traditional bread. The dough isn't gonna turn into a ball of dough. It's gonna be more like soft serve ice cream. We just wanna mix it well. A whisk wouldn't really work. You could use a wooden spoon if you wanted to, but we just wanna kind of get all of the arrowroot starch clumps incorporated so that when you open one of your rolls, you don't just have a big old spot of arrowroot starch. Cool. So pretty. You can smell all of the herbs, the rosemary, the oregano, the thyme. It smells so good. Okay, so that's perfect right there. We'll go ahead and I love ice cream scoops for mine. These are just food scoops that we get from Ford Restaurant Supply here at Nourish. I have some of these at my home. I like to use the 2-ounce scoop for here. You could use any size you like. And then for the mini ones, I always use a 3/4 ounce scoop or a 1-ounce scoop. So if you ever want to do minis. And then we're just gonna go ahead, get this all in here. And I always start going around the edges in case I scoop too big and I don't have any for the middle. You want to have even cooking times for all your rolls, and if you put them in the middle first, those ones are going to cook slower. Perfect. So we're going to get exactly 12 rolls. And any of that dough that goes to the side, just grab that. So again, if it's really cold in your kitchen, you're welcome to let these rise for about 5 to 10 minutes. Rolls usually don't need to rise, or at least I never let them rise at my house, and they turn out just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these straight into our preheated oven. We'll set a timer for about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm gonna start off with 22, because that's one of my favorite numbers. And we'll let those get cooking. Now that our rolls are in our oven, we're gonna start getting our cheese sauce ready for our broccoli cheddar soup. This cheddar is actually made without any nuts. I know I do a lot of ricottas with nuts, but we're gonna substitute that with some cauliflower. If you did do the nuts, it would make this more keto friendly. We're gonna keep it nut free for some of those people that have those nut allergies. So we just cut it in half, and then I just cut like a triangle to get the core out. We're gonna go ahead and compost all the leaves. And these don't have to be too small. We're just gonna do kind of floret sizes, just so that they can boil and get soft. You could also use potatoes instead of cauliflower if you wanted to. So we need about 2 cups of cauliflower. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. It's okay if it's a little bit more. It's also okay if you get a little bit of the leaves or the stem in. And then we'll just cut our carrots. Need about 1 cup of carrots. I'm just gonna eyeball that here. I always leave the skin on my veggies no matter what I'm making, because there's a lot of nutrients in the skin. So I never want to give that up if I don't have to. Cool. So it looks like 2 carrots is going to give me about 1 cup of carrots. So I'll just throw that in. And the carrots are really cool. This is what's going to give it that yellow color for the cheddar. And then we have a pot over here that's already boiling. So I'm just going to walk over, check it, make sure it's coming to a boil, toss my veggies in. All right. We're just gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and then check on it, and we just wanna make sure that they're soft so that they blend really easy in the blender. So I'll go ahead and start a 5-minute timer. Alrighty, so we got our cauliflower and carrots boiling right now, and since I have a little bit of time, the rolls are in the oven, I'm just gonna start cutting up my broccoli. We need about 2 quarts of broccoli. I like to use the stems a lot in this soup because it's a way to get rid of them and still get my money's worth. I know a lot of people don't know what to do with the stems, so I cut the bottom off. And then you just kind of go down and gently peel the sides. You could use a peeler if you'd like. And it's really funny, in my house, my 4-year-old, well, everybody likes the broccoli crowns except for my 9-year-old. She'll only eat the stems. I don't know how she figured that out. So she's a great little disposal for our stems too. All right. So these, we just want little florets so that they boil. The smaller they are, the faster they boil. And then for our stem, I like to just cut it in half, put it side by side, and just do some nice slices. So that looks like about 2 quarts to me. 2 quarts is about 8 cups. And if it's really hard like that, we don't want to use the end of that stalk. So that's how you'll know that's where you want to stop cutting at. So we got our 2 quarts of broccoli. And then I'm just going to dice my onion. You can use, and I'll save this guy for something else. We just want to cut from the top to the bottom. You could use any onion, white, Spanish, red, whatever you like. So if the onion is ever really hard to pull back like that, I just like to give it a little tap, and then it goes through, and you can lift it from where you cut it, and it pulls back a lot easier. Cool. Dice this guy. So I'm going to go through twice because this one's a little bit taller. And we'll just toss this right in with that broccoli because we're going to saute it all at the same time. Perfect. And now that we have those all cut, my timer went off for my cauliflower and carrots. We'll go over there and check those out and make sure they're ready to go. When my timer went off, I'm going to go ahead, turn off the heat, take this lid off, grab one of my larger pieces of cauliflower, take a skewer, stick it in, and you can see it went right through the middle. So these are ready. And this pan is really hot, so I'm going to use my gloves here just to lift this out. Let it strain. Cool. And we'll just take this right over to the table. We'll go ahead and start making our cheddar cheese. So I'm just going to pour this hot right into the blender. Perfect. And then we'll add some water. You're welcome to add any sort of nut milk if you want, or seed milk. I was just trying to keep this nut free. And then we have our Dijon. Some lemon juice. The arrowroot starch is just gonna thicken it up for us. And we have some oil, that'll give it a nice creamy texture. You can use avocado, olive, coconut. And then our seasoning, we have some sea salt, nutritional yeast, onion powder, and garlic powder. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and turn that on. So we want to always start with our high-powered blender on low, and then we turn it on. And then I'll start to turn it up from here. Oop. Start to turn that off. Is that not the coolest thing ever? It looks just like, woo, growing thing. It looks just like Velveeta cheese. Like, isn't that cool? I love it. All right, so we're just gonna put this to the side. We're gonna use that whole thing for the soup, and then we're gonna go over to our stovetop with all of our ingredients and start making our soup and putting everything together. All right, so now we're gonna start assembling our soup. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my broccoli and my diced onions. We're gonna turn our heat on medium-high. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my avocado oil, which will just help everything cook. You can hear those onions starting to saute, the broccoli. All right, so our onions are nice and translucent. The broccoli has started to cook. It's probably not cooking as quickly as the onions because they're a lot slower, but that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and grab our veggie stock, and I actually made broccoli stock just for this. You can use any stock you'd like. Perfect. And that'll start to cook that down. From there, we're gonna add in our sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder. Bring that back to a boil. I'm just gonna put our lid back on to help it come up to a boil a little bit quicker. And now that that is on and getting it hot and boiling, we'll check it out in a few minutes, turn the heat down, reduce it to a simmer. But while this is getting brought up to a boil, our timer went off and we're gonna take out our rolls. So these are still a little light. The tips are nice and brown. Nice, but that came out clean, so we are gonna call that a day. Grab these out. Go ahead and turn off our oven, bring them over here. We'll go ahead and depan these guys. So I'm just gonna, oh, that's the perfect color on the bottom. That nice golden brown is what we're looking for. These are too hot for you too. You always could just flip them out. Woo, don't let them roll away from you. And then just turn them on over. So the perfect little rolls. Oh, left one behind, there we go. Back over to our soup, check out our broccoli. Be careful if your lid is hot. Cool, this looks good. We're gonna let this simmer for about 20 minutes just to get the broccoli soft enough to puree and blend. So now it's been 20 minutes. Our broccoli and our onions, our vegetable stock, and all of our seasonings have been boiling. So I'm just gonna turn off the heat for now, remove our lid, and then we'll go ahead and blend our soup. Love the color already. So now that that is all pureed, we're gonna take all of our cheddar cheese that we made, go ahead and just scoop it into there. And then mix it in. And if you like it a little bit thinner, you're welcome to add more vegetable stock. But this is like creamy and thick, just like I like it. Perfect. From there, we're gonna put the lid on and just put it on a low heat for about 5 to 10 minutes, just letting that cheese sauce get incorporated here. Nice, and then we'll take it off and we'll get it ready for plating. So now we're gonna go ahead and plate our soup. It's been simmering for about 5 minutes on the stove top. Just remembering that arrowroot starch will thicken it up. So the more it thickens, the longer it's on. You might wanna add some more vegetable broth if you need to, just in case it gets too thick, but this is like perfect for me. And it's so yellow and bright and vibrant. I love it so much. So we'll just get some in our bowl. And then you can grab a roll or two and place them on your plate. The perfect little dinner for anybody. And I just want to break one of these open for you so you guys can see the inside. But oh, so beautiful. Love it. So I'm actually just going to dip one of these in. Not even going to use a spoon. Whew, and they both look really hot too. So. So, so, so good. I'll definitely be eating this for dinner tonight. Yeah, you can taste that cheddar cheese, the broccoli, all of the good things. The roll is so soft, it's so moist, it's so good. All right. So if you enjoyed these recipes, feel free to follow me at Chef Kimber Dean or Nourish Cafe in Marco. You can check out our websites, Facebook, Instagram, any of our social media platforms. And I hope you really like these recipes. If you'd like more, follow Nourish on YouTube or Plant Based Network. And don't forget to nourish from the inside out.